Hi friends, this is Preeti. So we have completed general pharmacology. I have done it in two videos, two parts. So it is completed. So now I am starting nervous system. So here you can see so many uh, phases. So nervous system is a very interesting part because our daily activities which we do all depends upon this system, because our brain is responsible for all those activities. What we talk, what we do, what we listen, all our emotions, feelings, all depends upon the brain. So I have given these pictures. So let's go into the topic. Nervous system, which includes central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Under central nervous system, there is a brain and spinal cord. Again, peripheral is divided into autonomic and somatic. ANS. ANS is involved in involuntary actions. Means like heartbeat, respiration, and digestion. So these are not under our control. They are automatic. So they are called as involuntary functions. Under this, there is a sympathetic nervous system, parasympathetic nervous system, and enteric nervous system. So again, somatic nervous system, which is also called as skeletal nervous system. It is a voluntary nervous system, because voluntary means we do the things on our own. If we want to move our hand, we'll move. If we want to move our leg, we can move. But it is not involuntary, it is voluntary. We are doing these things by our own. So next we study about the brain. So this note is written a long back ago, so I did not write again. Just listen to me and you write in your notes. It will be clear. So I will start with a brain. A brain consists of mainly three parts. Forebrain. So here you can see forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. And first, forebrain is divided into four parts. Again, it consists of four parts: limbic system, olfactory bulb, cerebrum, and diencephalon. So the first one, limbic system. Limbic system is again a combination of amygdala and hippocampus. So here the function is sexual behavior and expression of emotional responses. So the function of limbic system is it have a control over expression of emotional responses and sexual behavior. And then next we come to olfactory bulb. So this part of brain can recognize the smell. Okay. And then cerebrum. So cerebrum is a major part of our brain, and it is divided into two hemispheres, two cerebral hemispheres. Here you can see cerebrum is divided into two cerebral hemispheres, and each cerebral hemisphere have these four lobes: frontal, parietal, occipital, and temporal. Each cerebral hemisphere has four lobes. It means the lobes are of four pairs. And again, the cerebrum consists of cerebral cortex and cerebral medulla. Cerebral cortex is made up of gray matter and medulla is made up of white matter. So we all have studied in our intermediate and 10th class. Brain externally it is made up of gray matter and internally white matter, whereas spinal cord it is opposite. Outside white matter, inside gray matter. So And one more point is cerebrum. On the surface of cerebrum there are grooves and folds. We can see, if you see the brain picture, you can see grooves and folds. So here we can see more surface area of brain is due to gyri and sulci. Gyri are nothing but folds and sulci are nothing but grooves. So if there is a more surface area, then there is a more intelligence. So as the age increases, what happens is the gyri, the folds gets decreased and the grooves gets increased. So the surface area is decreased. So there is a loss of old age people will forget easily. They will forget the things because of this. So till here cerebrum part is completed, and next come to frontal lobe. The functions of frontal lobe, what functions it will recognize or it will do. So it keeps control over problem solving and intellectual activities, attention, judgment, behavior and muscle movement. So all these are control under frontal lobe. And then parietal lobe. Parietal lobe is the place where all senses can be recognized: pain, touch, vision and pressure. All these can be recognized in this area. And then temporal lobe, the functions are visual and auditory. And then occipital lobe, recognition of colors, words, movements, etc. So these are the functions of different lobes. And then we come to the another part of forebrain, which is diencephalon. It consists of three parts: epithalamus, thalamus and hypothalamus. Epithalamus consists of a round body called as pineal gland. So it secretes a hormone called melatonin. And thalamus, which helps in a sensory and motor signaling. Whereas hypothalamus, it gets control over temperature, thirst, hunger. Okay, so by this we have completed forebrain part. And next we come to the midbrain. Midbrain consists of substantia nigra, and it has a control over visual and auditory. Okay, and then we come to hindbrain. Hindbrain consists of pons, cerebellum and medulla oblongata. This pons, it has a function of control of respiratory muscle movements. And cerebellum gets control over locomotor movements: walking, running and jumping. These are nothing but locomotor movements. And medulla oblongata, very important part, it gets control over cardiovascular activities, respiratory activities, swallowing, vomiting, coughing, sneezing. All these activities are under control in the area of medulla oblongata. So these are the parts of a brain: forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. So this is the brain. The outer surface is called cerebrum. It is divided into two hemispheres, left and right. So all the activities of the left side are controlled under right cerebral hemisphere, and the activities done by right side are controlled over left side hemisphere. So here we can see the location of frontal lobe, temporal lobe, parietal and occipital. This is called as cerebellum and this is called as brainstem. So here we can see brainstem is a combination of midbrain, pons and medulla oblongata. So by combining these three, we call it as brainstem. And again, two more important points. Cerebellum is the gyroscope of the body because it maintains the equilibrium. It maintains the posture, walking, jumping. All these movements are controlled under cerebellum. And then hypothalamus, which is a thermostat of the body, because It maintains the body temperature. Okay. And cerebrum is the major part of a brain, whereas cerebellum is the gyroscope of the body, and it is also called as a little brain, and hypothalamus is a thermostat of the body. So this is all a HAP part. Before learning all the drugs and their mechanism of actions and the receptors, first we should have an idea about brain anatomy, so that it will be easy from where the responses are coming, how the responses can be recognized. All this we can study. And the next one is there are 4 ventricles of brain, first, second, third and fourth. So first and second are present in the right and left cerebral hemispheres, third is present in the diencephalon, and fourth is present in the medulla. First 2 are called as paracels, the middle one is diaceal, and the last one is myocele. Here we can see the connections. These paracels and diaceals are connected by foramina of Monro, and diaceal and myocele are connected by iter, which is or aqueduct of Sylvius. So these 4 ventricles consist of a cerebrospinal fluid. 4 ventricles and the subarachnoid space is filled with the cerebrospinal fluid. What is the function of the cerebrospinal fluid? Here we can see it is alkaline, it is a colorless fluid, and it helps in providing the nourishment to the brain, cerebrospinal fluid. So it is filtered from the choroid plexus into the brain, and then it is recycled 4 times per day. So CSF is recycled 4 times per day. It serves as a shocking absorbing medium. So these are nothing but basics. Just remember. Here we'll come to cranial nerves. Cranial nerves means the nerves which are coming from the brain. So there are 12 pairs of cranial nerves. Here we can see. So the nerves are of 2 types. Sensory nerves, 3 types: sensory, motor and mixed. Sensory means the nerves which send impulses from sensory organs to brain, whereas motor, it is opposite. It sends impulses from brain to sensory organs, whereas mixed means it does both the functions, both sensory and motor. So here I have given examples. 1 to 8 are sensory, 3, 4, 6, 11, 12 are motor. Mixed means 5, 7, 9 and 10. So now read by correlating these. So here I have given first one is olfactory. It is a sensory nerve, means the nerve which send impulses from a sensory organ to brain. So here olfactory means it is related to smell, means nose. So the nerves start from this part, from the sensory organ, and in the brain it ends in at temporal lobe. Here I have written 1. It ends in temporal lobe. Like that I have written for all the 12 pairs of cranial nerves. So read like this. Olfactory nerve, which is a sensory nerve. Sensory means it sends impulses from sensory organ to brain. Means this nerve sends impulses from nose to temporal lobe of brain. So for example, if we smell anything, we can recognize that it is a good smell or bad smell. How we are recognizing? After smelling, these nerves carry those impulses from nose to the temporal lobe of brain. Then we recognize that it is a bad smell or a good smell. So next, optic nerve. Optic is also sensory. Then here the nerve starts from the eyes and ends in the occipital lobe of brain. Next, oculomotor. Oculomotor means it is a motor. It starts from the brain and ends in sensory organ. So it starts from the midbrain and ends in the iris muscle of eyeball. So read like this all the cranial nerves. If I explain now all this, it takes so much time. So I will read only the 12 pairs of cranial nerves. So first one is olfactory, optic, oculomotor, pathetic or trochlear, trigeminal, abducens, facial, vestibulocochlear or auditory or acoustic, glossopharyngeal, vagus, spinal accessory and hypoglossal. Out of all these, vagus nerve is very important because it is sending impulses to lungs, heart, esophagus, stomach and intestine, which are a major parts of our body system. Okay, so this is what cranial nerves. So here I have written some shortcuts, I forgot to tell them. Here trigeminal nerve is a combination of ophthalmic, maxillary and mandibular. Out of these, ophthalmic and maxillary are sensory nerves and mandibulary is a mixed nerve. And here sensory nerve starts from ear, nose, tongue and lacrimal glands, whereas motor nerve, it sends impulses to lower jaw and salivary glands and also lacrimal glands. Diagram you can remember easily. So 1 represents the nose, it means regarding a smell. 2 means it is eyes. Okay, vision, it represents the vision. Next 3, it means iris muscle of eyeball. 4 is oblique muscle of eyeball. Then 5, which represents the face, facial nerve, it is trigeminal. And 6 means it represents the rectus muscle of the eyeball. And next 7, see here we can see 7. Okay, and 8, it represents the ears, it means auditory. And 11, shoulders and neck. And here we can see 10, which is a vagus nerve. And 9, glossopharyngeal, which represents the posterior tooth part of a tongue. 12 is nothing but for speech and swallowing. So like this we can remember very easily. I think you can understand. Next we will study about spinal nerves. Spinal nerves are 31 pairs, whereas cranial nerves are 21 pairs. Here there are a cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacral and coccygeal. Cervical 8 pairs, thoracic 12 pairs, lumbar 5, sacral 5 and coccygeal 1. And here there are plexus, means the network of these nerves. So all these nerves form a network. So these are the networks. Cervical plexus is a combination of 1 to 4th cervical nerves. So here we can see there are 8 pairs of nerves. So till 4th it is a combination of cervical plexus. Then brachial means 5 to 8 cervical plus 1st thoracic. And lumbar means from L1 to L4. And sacral means L4, L5 plus S1, S2 and S3. Coccygeal means S4 plus S5 and the last coccygeal one. So these are the different plexus. So here it is a spinal cord. Here there is an inner gray matter and outer white matter, whereas brain it is inner white matter and outer gray matter. So internally it is head-shaped or butterfly shaped, and it acts as a middleman between receptors and effectors as it conducts impulses from to and from brain. So these are the spinal plexus and autonomic plexus. Spinal includes cervical, brachial, lumbar and coccygeal. I have told before. So you can check the place where they arise. Cervical serves the head, neck and shoulders, and brachial chest, shoulders, arms and hands, and lumbosacral. Lumbar will serve at abdomen, thighs, knees and calves, and sacral serves the pelvis, buttocks, and coccygeal a small lesion over the coccyx. So here mostly we can see these voluntary actions. And here autonomic plexus, we have celiac, Auerbach's, Meissner's, pharyngeal and cardiac. So these serves the organs which were involuntary actions. So here we can see GIT, heart, palate and pharynx. So autonomic, we all know autonomic nervous system causes involuntary actions. So these all serves the internal organs, and spinal plexus will serves the organs which shows voluntary actions. So just remember the names. And because we got a question recently based on these plexus, and one more is there which is a choroid plexus which is present in the brain. We have seen the cerebrospinal fluid is filtered through the choroid plexus. So here is the question: which of the following plexus is a part of the CNS in the brain and consists of capillaries, ventricles and epinemal cells? So comment the answer in the comment box. It is very easy. So the basic part of the nervous system, nothing but a HAP, is completed. If we read this, it is more than enough. Just remember the names. I have told the functions so that we can understand, we can correlate all the things. In cranial nerves also, just remember what is first cranial nerve and what is second, what is third, and which is sensory, which is motor. So the functions are not important, but in brain the functions are very important. So what are the functions of cerebellum? What are the functions of cerebellum? It includes in it involves in locomotor movements, like that. Read the functions involved in the brain, but in a cranial nerve, so just read which is sensory, which is motor, and what is the first cranial nerve, second, third, fourth, fifth, etc. Just for understanding, I have given the where it arises and where it ends. So please give a comment whether you are understanding or not, or am I going fast, too fast or too slow, or give your opinion on this. So thank you for watching my video.